I'm Richard.
And I'm Will.
And together we're
The Irreverent Nerds. Bum, bum, bum.
Nerds.
Nerdettes.
And assorted nerd persons.
Yes.
We are here for another episode of the Irreverent Nerds podcast. William, what is our topic for this week, sir?
Richard. It's aliens.
Awesome. What is aliens?
Well, they're usually little green men.
Okay, green men. What about the Greys, though? They're the Greys. Don't forget the Greys, right? So we got the Greys, we have green men.
That's only when they're oxidized.
Only when their skin touches the air. So when they're not wearing their suits, their skin oxidizes. So which is the oxidation, the gray or the green?
I don't know. I'll meet one and tell you.
We can ask Fox Mulder. He'll know.
The grays come from the moon. The greens come from Mars.
Or Venus? Venus is green, right? Isn't it?
Is it green?
I feel like all the pictures I've seen of Venus, like the atmosphere looks greenish.
Maybe I'm thinking Mercury yellow.
Mercury's more like, it's like a rock, I think, isn't it? Although, does it have atmosphere? I don't know.
Mercury's that stuff in thermometers.
This is true. We're off topic. So, yes, we are talking about the 1986 James Cameron film, Aliens. And we are kicking off a 4-week series, a 4-part series on James Cameron's Alien movies, culminating on December 21st. I think that's the right date. Wednesday, December 21st, with our review of Avatar: Way of Water. So we're going to be doing Aliens this week, and then next week we're going to do The Abyss, another classic 80s film. And then the week after that, we're going to do the first Avatar film, leading up to, finally, our review of Avatar: Way of Water.
I keep getting Abyss and Pacific Rim confused.
Yeah. No, very different movies.
Want to get my kaiju on, Richard.
Which Pacific Rim, there's no aliens, I don't think, is there? Were they supposed to be aliens that are just living under the earth, or were they just always under the earth? I'm trying to remember.
Both. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just getting it confused because both of them take place in the deep. Technically, it doesn't.
Yeah. So the Abyss, the Abyss does take place underwater. They run into aliens there, but I think they are from off-planet, if memory serves me correctly.
Was that the... We're getting off topic.
Anyway.
I think that was the movie, we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, so we're doing something kind of fun. Like, as we're reviewing Aliens, we actually have it playing in the background here. We're sitting in my living room, the nice big TV in front of us, and you won't hear it, the audio's off, but we got it playing in the background, kind of a nice ambiance for our recording here. Right now, Paul Reiser is walking onto the stage for the first time with, what's the name of it? Jonesy, the cat.
Jonesy. This movie could have used more Jonesy.
This is true.
The prima donna of this movie.
A little more Jonesy. So, Will, can you tell us a little bit about Aliens?
Well, it's a 1986 science fiction action film, and I tried to do some research on this. If you don't put 1986 after it, you get all sorts of stuff.
I bet.
Anyway, Little Green Men aside, it's written and directed by James Cameron. It is the sequel to the 1979 science fiction horror film Alien, and the second film in the Alien franchise. The film is set in the far future. Sigourney Weaver, Sigourney Weaver stars as Ellen Ripley, the sole survivor of an alien attack on her ship. When communications are lost with the human colony on the moon, where her crew first saw the alien creatures, Ripley agrees to return to the site with a unit of colonial marines to investigate. Michael Biehn, Paul Reiser, Lance Henriksen, and Carrie Henn feature in supporting roles. You know, I heard Carrie Henn went on to be a teacher after this.
Oh yeah, that's right. She plays Newt. Correct? Yeah. I believe this is her only acting credit. If memory, actually, yeah, I think it may have been her only acting credit.
You know, this was the first time I saw this film, and I expected to see Newt in future Alien movies, so that's a disappointment.
Yeah, like when you get to Alien 3, spoiler warning, you find out that she has died in transport. Just pretty sad.
Oh, I saw Alien 4. I didn't know that. I skipped ahead.
Speaking of death, Ripley is having her nightmare right now, where a chest burster is about to come out. Gotta love it. Oh, excuse me. No, it's... Oh, yeah. It's like pressing out, and then she wakes up. By the way, Sigourney Weaver, like, I guess that's her natural hair. It is so curly. This is not important at all.
Curly.
But it's like, at least in these movies, like, so curly. Interesting.
My wife and I watched this last night. She actually loved it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Cool.
But I had to explain the alien bursting out of her chest because she skipped out on the first film.
Well, she'll have to come back around and watch the first one. So, speaking of chest bursting and Ellen Ripley, I'm going to get into the plot of Alien. So, we start out with Ellen Ripley. She has been in stasis for 57 years aboard an escape shuttle after destroying her ship, the Nostromo, to escape an alien creature that slaughtered her crew. She is rescued and debriefed by her employers at the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, who are skeptical about her claim of alien eggs in a derelict ship on the exomoon LV-426, since it is now the site of a terraforming colony. After contact is lost with the colony, Weyland-Yutani representative Carter Burke, played by Paul Reiser, and Colonial Marine Lieutenant Gorman ask Ripley to accompany them to investigate. Still traumatized by her alien encounter, she agrees on the condition that they exterminate the creatures. Ripley is introduced to the Colonial Marines on the spaceship Sulaco, but is distrustful of their android Bishop, due to the android aboard the Nostromo having betrayed its crew to protect the alien on company orders. No surprise there. A dropship delivers the expedition to the surface of LV-426, where they find the battle-ravaged colony and 2 live alien facehuggers in containment tanks, but no bodies or colonists except for a traumatized young girl nicknamed Newt. The team locates the colonists beneath the fusion-powered atmosphere processing station and heads to their location, descending into corridors covered in alien secretions. At the station's center, the Marines find opened eggs and dead facehuggers alongside the cocooned colonists now serving as incubators for the creature's offspring. The Marines kill an infant alien after it bursts from a colonist's chest, rousing several adult aliens who ambush the Marines and kill or capture many of them. When the inexperienced Gorman panics, Ripley assumes command, takes control of their armored personnel carrier, and rams the nest to rescue Corporal Dwayne Hicks and Privates Hudson and Vasquez. Hicks orders the dropship to recover the survivors, but a stowaway alien kills the pilots and it crashes into the station. Almost out of ammunition and resources, the survivors barricade themselves inside the colony. Ripley discovers that Burke ordered the colonists to investigate the derelict spaceship containing the alien eggs, intending to profit by recovering them for biological weapon research. Before she can expose him, Bishop informs the group that the dropship crash damaged the power plant cooling system, and the plant will soon overheat and explode, destroying the colony. He volunteers to travel to the colony transmitter and remotely pilot the Sulaco's remaining dropship to the surface. After falling asleep in the medical laboratory, Ripley and Newt awaken to find themselves trapped with the 2 released facehuggers. Ripley triggers a fire alarm to alert the Marines, who rescue them and kill the creatures. She accuses Burke of releasing the facehuggers to implant her and Newt with alien embryos, allowing him to smuggle them through Earth's quarantine. The power is suddenly cut, and aliens attack through the ceiling. In the ensuing firefight, the aliens kill Burke, subdue Hudson, and injure Hicks. The cornered Gorman and Vasquez sacrifice themselves to avoid capture. Newt is separated from Ripley and taken by the creatures. Ripley brings Hicks to Bishop in the second dropship, but she refuses to abandon Newt and arms herself before descending into the processing station Hive alone to rescue her. During their escape, they encounter the alien queen, surrounded by dozens of eggs, and when one begins to open, Ripley uses her weapons to destroy them all and the queen's ovipositor. Pursued by the enraged queen, Ripley and Newt join Bishop and Hicks on the dropship and escape moments before the station explodes, consuming the colony in a nuclear blast. Aboard the Sulaco, the group is ambushed by the Queen, who's stowed away in the dropship's landing gear. The Queen tears Bishop in half and advances on Newt, but Ripley fights the creature with an exosuit cargo loader and expels it through an airlock into space, while the damaged Bishop keeps Newt safe. Ripley, Newt, Hicks, and Bishop enter hypersleep for their return trip to Earth. One thing I wonder about, why did Bishop need to be in hypersleep? He's an android.
I don't know. Do androids die?
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
I mean, he was cut in half.
Can he still dream? I wonder.
Well, he still has his head.
Yeah, still has his head. Still has his.
Wait, where is the
brain
synthesoid's brain?
/ central processing unit. I would assume it'd be in the head. That would, if they're trying to imitate human physiology, more or less. But what's up with the creepy, beads? Beads. When they get ripped in half, both him and the android from the first film, you have, the white, it's this weird, white tubing, but then it's got these little beads that go, I'm trying to think what to compare it to.
I didn't notice that. I just noticed that the blood was, white.
Yeah, milky white. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. So, speaking of weirdness, Will, I understand you have some trivia about aliens.
Oh, sure.
You want to tell us about?
I did some research, but here's some just random trivia. Like most films, the movie wasn't shot in sequence, but for added realism, James Cameron filmed the scene where we first meet the Colonial Marines, one of the earliest scenes, last. This was so that the camaraderie of the Marines was realistic because the actors had spent months filming together. Now here's something I learned. Speaking of the Colonial Marines, the sergeant was actually a real Marine from Vietnam.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he had real experience and he was able to help out on set. For one thing he had changed is that all the actors wanted to put their finger on the trigger while they walked around, but apparently real Marines don't do that. They keep their finger off the trigger.
Yeah, that's always made more sense to me.
Yeah.
I've seen that in movies. I'm like, why would you could accidentally shoot someone that you don't intend to shoot. Why would you keep your finger on the trigger? It's no, you keep it to the side. You can easily, pull it in.
Yeah, James Cameron, I heard he wanted the Colonial Marines to be like Vietnam Marines. So I don't remember the actor's name, but he really helped in helping in realism and realizing that.
I think, didn't they even go through a 2-week training camp or something?
Yeah, they did. Actually, Sigourney Weaver, the actor that plays Gorman, and Paul Reiser couldn't make it because of scheduling conflicts. But at the end, James Cameron thought that was for the best, since their characters wouldn't really know about that stuff anyway.
Yeah, and they're kind of outsiders to the group, so that probably worked well with the acting dynamic, as they didn't have the bonding maybe that the Marines had through the training.
Here's something new I didn't know. It says here Bill Paxton continuously apologized to Carrie Hennon throughout filming every time Hudson had to swear in front of her. But Carrie later admitted that she didn't mind because she didn't know what those words meant anyway.
Aliens are coming, man.
Did you hear about the tumultuous... this thing went through development hell for a while, and then when it finally did get made, did you hear about the problems with the UK crew?
That sounds familiar. Something about hours and tea breaks or something?
Yeah, it says here James Cameron faced a big problem trying to win the confidence and respect of the British crew, many of whom had worked on the original Alien in '79 and were fiercely loyal to Ridley Scott. In order to try and convince them he had the talent and skills for the job, he arranged a screening of The Terminator for the crew on the set to demonstrate his abilities. However, most of the crew ignored the invite and didn't bother to turn up.
Oh,
I heard the ones that did turn up had confidence in him after that, but
that sucks.
yeah, it does. I heard that this was his second film he directed.
Yeah, and he was still pretty young. Like, he had just done Terminator a couple of years before, and prior to that, I think he worked for Roger Corman on his staff, like on his production team before that. But yeah, like he only had one in the books, so to speak. It's like, I understand them being skeptical, but yeah, it's unfortunate that they weren't willing to at least take a look at the other film.
I heard that in the end of the film, when Weaver's character finds the nest with all the eggs in it and the queen, that there was supposed to be a lot more fog or smoke in that room, but because a bunch of the British crew walked out, that's the reason why some scenes have smoke and some other scenes don't really have a lot of smoke in that scene.
Huh. So it's like, you gotta work with what you got. Yeah, if they're not willing to be there. I feel like, wasn't there like some union issues too or something? Like, because they have a different union over there, obviously, than...
I heard something about that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Now, I think we forgot to mention we're watching a special edition.
Yeah. So I own the special edition on DVD, and Will rented it last night, watched it, kind of rewatched it at his home. So yeah, we might make some comments that are specific to the special edition, just so you know.
I think right now we're watching a scene that parts of this weren't in the original version because Newt has a brother that's not in the original version, right?
Yeah, I don't know, like all the parts with the family, I don't know if they showed all of that in the first. Because yeah, she is in there with her brother, as her parents are exploring the spaceship. So, look, penis rock. Did you see?
This isn't the Little Mermaid.
What?
Oh, that's off-topic trivia.
I was thinking more of references to the first Alien, because the art director
did we talk about that?
Deliberately put a lot of phallic images into the... but I was not thinking of Little Mermaid.
Oh, that reminds me of some other trivia. The spaceship from the first movie, they didn't know if they would ever make a sequel, so they sold it. But fortunately, the collector they sold it to still had it and allowed them to use it for this movie, the sequel.
Okay.
Which was very fortunate.
Yeah.
They didn't destroy it and all that.
No, that's good.
Speaking of that, I feel like this film isn't as artsy as the original film.
Yeah, the pacing's different, for one. Like, I think Ridley Scott, at least the way he did the original, is very much a slow burn. I feel like this one gets into the main action earlier, which that makes some sense, because in the first one, like, you didn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
If you're seeing it for the first time, I don't know if they ever showed the alien in the previews or not, but like, there's like build up. No one's seen the alien yet. There's just like little flashes here or there. And then finally there's a reveal. You see the full alien, but there's like it's like an hour into the movie or more. So it's like build up of tension. But this one is not so much of a like suspense movie,
right?
As it is,
I could tell,
as it is like an action drama movie, if you will. Yeah, Cameron's never tried his hand at like a suspense film per se. Like that's just not his genre.
Honestly, I think the suspense really helped the first Alien film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I missed that in this film. I mean, it's definitely, I could tell it was more of an action film.
Which, I mean, there's not a whole lot. Like, obviously the alien's already been revealed in the first film, so like, how much more could you play with that? But I imagine you could have found some ways to build up more suspense. Now you do have the tension of like not not knowing who's going to die next.
True.
So you have some of that, like which Marine's going to die next. Which, what's to say? Bill Paxton. I think isn't his character one of the last ones to die. I think him and.
Yeah, I can't remember which character Bill Paxton plays. Is he Hudson?
That sounds right.
Okay. I think I read that earlier.
Anyway, did you have any more trivia for us?
Yeah. Here's another good one. In a deleted scene, the portrait of Ripley's daughter is of Elizabeth Inglis, Sigourney Weaver's real-life mother. This was restored in the director's cut, which we must be watching. So, I was going to comment on that scene, actually. We saw it earlier on the screen. I think it's funny that in the far future, printed photos are still pixelated. Gotta love 80s technology.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta work with what you got, right?
Yeah.
Paul Reiser looks so young. Which I think he was. I don't even know if he was 30 yet when he was in this movie.
And what is
Ripley would have been... Well, not Ripley. Sigourney Weaver, I think, might have been 33, 34 when she made this.
Cool.
Reiser, I think, was younger. This is before his stint in the... I think that... He had a TV show later in the 90s called Mad About You. I think that he...
Oh, that's what I recognize him from. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where he became more famous for that. And then
I used to watch that.
More recently, of course, he's been in Stranger Things.
Well, Mandy, my wife, recognized Paul Reiser, and I couldn't remember what I had seen him in. But here's some more trivia. According to Bill Paxton, he improvised many of his lines, including "Game over, man, game over." His famous line, "We're on an express elevator to hell going down," was probably improvised as well, as it doesn't appear in the shooting script.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Here's the name of the Marine Sergeant. His name is Al Matthews. I couldn't remember it earlier. He was actually promoted to the rank of sergeant in the field during service in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you know?
He plays Apone. Al. Oh, yeah, and like... This might be in the trivia, but like all the Marines, all the characters, like I think their first names were their actual first names.
Huh. Neat.
If I'm not mistaken.
So right now on screen, we're seeing all of the freezing units. They only had 6 of these, and they used mirrors to make it look like they had 12.
Ah. I can kind of see it.
I think each one cost about $4,000 to make, and they were trying to stay under budget.
No, it makes sense. I love the sergeant. He wakes up, first thing he does is put a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, I commented about that last night. He came prepared. He went to sleep with a cigar in his hand.
Yep. Mr. Paxton. Yeah, he was in Terminator. Like that was his... I think it was his first movie credit too. Like, he just had a small part. Pretty early on in the film, he gets killed by the Terminator. Like when the Terminator first arrives, he gets killed.
Is he the Bill Paxton? Is he the guy who's been in this Terminator and a third film of James Cameron? Predator. That was it. Was that guy?
No, he wasn't. Well, James Cameron didn't do Predator. I don't think Paxton was in Predator, but I could be wrong about that. But
one of the Predators.
I'm trying to remember if he was in Titanic. I don't know if he had a role in Titanic. But yeah, he wasn't in Avatar. So that was Cameron's next film. I don't think. No, he wasn't. And of course now he's passed away now.
Yeah. Bill Paxton was in Predator 2.
Okay.
He played the character Jerry Lambert.
Oh, that's where the Predator goes to Los Angeles, right? Like Danny Glover fights it. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either. I've seen the first one, which was very well done. Oh yeah, and then Michael Biehn, who's in this film, which I think he was like a last minute replacement, if memory serves me, for the character. But he had worked with Cameron in Terminator, and when they needed someone to replace an actor that had to, I forget why, but he had to bow out, he asked Michael Biehn to do it. Here's the knife trick.
Yeah, did you know, a little trivia here, they didn't tell the actor they were going to do this. Put his hand there. This was a surprise for the actor, too. How much of that screaming do you think was real?
Well, it was a different take, so...
Well, that's a good point.
Unless they had double coverage. Obviously, they sped the film up over that, but yeah, he still did the knife in between the fingers, and it at least had a pointy edge, like, or a pointy tip, because you can see it made a dent in the table.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if they sped that film up.
This is where Bishop like does a knife trick. Oh, he cut himself. I
always wondered if he cut the other guy too.
So anyway, in our last few minutes here, do you haven't just rewatched it fully last night? Do you have a favorite scene from the film?
Well, I think it's not an artistic scene, but I like Marvel movies, so I guess I indulge in garbage. But but at the end of the film, when she fights the Queen in the yellow suit, which I heard was inspired by Starship Troopers, by the way. I heard that all the characters playing actors playing the Marine characters had to read Starship Troopers as a part of their training. But
the book.
Yeah, the book. But I liked seeing Sigourney Weaver and that big yellow forklift robot.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something iconic about it. I mean, it's not the best part of the film. It's just something cool about seeing her in that thing. And
I don't know. That's one of my favorite scenes too. Like, cool. It's pretty dang awesome.
And I don't know about you, but I kind of remember there being toys of that for some reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were. Yeah, I remember that too. Like seeing the Ripley inside of the I think they call it loader.
Yeah. And that actually makes me wonder if they purposely put this in here for the merchandising.
You never know. You never know. But, like, what's cool about this, like, you definitely see, like, in terms of production design, you see some through lines with this and Avatar. Because, obviously, with Avatar, you have, like, mercenary Marines, in a sense, like mercenaries. And then some of the ships look similar to the ship here. And then they also have... They're bigger, but they have like mechs, which is I would say a bigger, more a weaponized version of the loader but still similar idea of like you have an operator inside of it, and I
noticed.
Yeah, see, that's so cool, and it looks. I think they really made it because it looks completely functional. You know what I mean? Like these loaders, like the actors are right there, and it's like a full screen shot. The actor in there, it's walking around, like, it's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Oh, okay, I found some trivia about the special edition. Since I have not seen the regular edition, I didn't know what the differences were. It says here that it includes 17 minutes of extra scenes. Ripley discussing her daughter with Burke. Ripley is demoted by the board. Newt's parents discovering the abandoned alien ship on LV-426. A tour through the Sulaco prior to the Marines waking up. Hudson bragging about his weaponry. Ripley hesitates before she enters the colony complex on the planet. Robot sentry guns repelling two alien raids. I can't believe they didn't have that in the original version. That seems important. Anyway, the Marine theorizing about an alien leader as the source of the eggs. Well, that was kind of build up for the Queen. And Hicks and Ripley exchanging first names. Also included is a scene on LV-426 where a child rides a big wheel similar to one ridden in the Terminator Also directed by James Cameron.
By the way, is it just me or does the big ship look like a giant gun?
The big ship looks like a gun?
Yeah.
How cool is that weapon, though?
Oh, yeah. The one that Vasquez is wearing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, look, the big ship doesn't look like a gun.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the guns they pick up in the next scene.
Yeah. Which I guess if you have the same production designer across the board, like, you're going to see some similarities. But yeah, Vasquez is pretty cool.
Here's some neat trivia. Did you know that... You know how some movies and TV shows are being like, we have 30 seconds to get out of here, but then like 10 minutes pass. And
Yeah,
it's still 30
yeah.
seconds. Well, this doesn't do that. If you count it, if they say we have 10 seconds, you count it. It's actually 10 seconds in the film.
Nice.
Yeah, real nice.
That sounds like what James Cameron would do, because he's very, very anal about details, from what I understand. Like to a fault sometimes.
I heard that too.
He's always pushing the envelope in terms of like technology and production design. Like obviously with Avatar: The Way of Water, it's going to be. He did something similar when he made The Abyss. Like The Abyss, like they took I want to save that for our actual podcast, but like they pushed the boundaries of like production with The Abyss, with the underwater filming and stuff, and they've done something kind of similar with The Way of Water, where they've pushed the envelope with underwater filming with it. So I'm looking forward to it. It should look pretty awesome in IMAX 3D.
Yeah, I'm too.
Well, let's see. We're right about our time limit for this week's episode. So I hope you enjoyed our banter and synopses and all that fun stuff about Aliens from 1986. If you guys would like to leave your own review for us to share on next week's episode, you can leave us a message. So I'll talk about this again in the closing of the episode, as I do every week. But yeah, you can leave us a voice message, and we'll include it. You can also follow us on Instagram and all that fun stuff. But next week, stay tuned. We will be talking about the James Cameron film The Abyss, starring Ed Harris.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, nerds, until next time.
Nerdettes.
And assorted nerd persons. Live long and prosper. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Irreverent Nerds podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at irreverent_nerds, plural. We are on Facebook. Our fan page is simply called The Irreverent Nerds. We're on YouTube, The Irreverent Nerd. And if you go to anchor.fm/irreverent nerd, you can support us for 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. You can also send us a voice message, which we may include in a future episode. Fellow nerds, until next time, make it so. Engage. Avengers assemble. I'm Batman.